Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to Kelvin University and our School of Business briefing for the month of April. I'm Bob Ames, and I'm one of the associate deans here at the School of Business. And today we're going to be talking about the finance programs that we offer at Kelvin. And I'm just so excited to have four guests with us today. And we've got two of our amazing professors, Leonard Van Drunen and Dirk Proes, who are both finance professors in our School of Business. And we've also asked two of our outstanding students to join us today, too, to tell us a little bit more about their experience studying finance at Kelvin University. So I want to start, first of all, with our professors. And Leonard and Dirk, I really believe that our School of Business is incredibly fortunate to have two professors with your unique backgrounds on our faculty. You've got great academic qualifications, but also some very impressive professional experience. Could you tell us a little bit more about yourselves and specifically about some of that experience? And Leonard, let's start with you.
Sure, thanks, Bob. Good afternoon. I discovered finance, I would say the finance part of God's creation, as an undergraduate student at Dort University. And then I continued my studies at Purdue, and I got a PhD there in finance. And after that, I taught for 3 years at University of Utah, teaching finance. Then I joined an investment banking company, Merrill Lynch and JP Morgan, and I worked at those two companies for 18 years in New York, Tokyo, and London. And my job there was to call on chief financial officers of companies and try to understand their needs and try to figure out how I could help meet their needs. And then 16 years ago, I took a job at Kelvin and then moved to Michigan. And I love being part of the Kelvin faculty team, and I love helping young people learn about finance.
Great. Well, Dirk, how about you? Tell us a little bit more about your background and specifically too about some of your professional experiences.
Sure, thanks, Bob. Well, I'm a graduate at Kelvin long ago. Then went to the University of Michigan, got an MBA. And out of Michigan, I started in public accounting. So I worked in the Grand Rapids office at Touche Ross for about 3.5 years. And then worked on a job here that led to a transfer to New York and worked at Touche in their financial services center and really got into the financial services industry at that point. So my client base was really 100% broker dealers at that point. So my biggest clients were Bear Stearns and Prudential Securities. Then I left public accounting and I went to Goldman Sachs, which had been a client of mine, and really spent the next 20 years mostly at Goldman Sachs in a number of different roles in different divisions, primarily finance division, primarily market infrastructure, sort of their investments in exchanges, clearinghouses, market data, and that sort of thing. I, like Leonard, had some outside of the U.S. experience. So I spent a couple of years in Mexico City, working on a new office there. That was a NAFTA baby, so to speak, and then spent about 3 years in Tokyo in the late 1990s. I left Goldman a couple of times to run two industry consortiums. One of them was in the securities lending industry, and then most recently in the last financial crisis, I was responsible for the clearinghouse for credit default swaps. And so I worked for a time for ICE, Intercontinental Exchange, which is the owner of the New York Stock Exchange and a number of futures exchanges. I came to Kelvin 7 years ago, and like Leonard, love working with students, and I teach both finance and some accounting as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Dirk. Yeah, I think all of you can can sense why I'm so excited to be able to call these two guys my colleagues. And I've been fortunate to work with them for a number of years, and really in the last few years, they've both been instrumental in helping the School of Business develop not only several new and innovative courses for our students interested in finance, but also the two majors that we offer now. And Leonard, you and I were talking about this a week or so ago, and you kind of framed it as one of the majors is really for students who are interested in financial analysis, and the other is really designed for students who want to become financial planners. Can you give us a little bit more information on the finance major, which is the one that's kind of targeting people interested in being an analyst?
Yeah, I'd love to. So we have a BA in finance, and as Bob said, the main focus of that is to help students get ready to be a financial analyst. So students start with some accounting courses, economics courses, a data course, a statistics course, a management course, communication course, and then they take some upper level finance courses like corporate finance, investments, special topics course, which covers things like mergers and acquisitions, derivatives, private equity. And of course, students in this major also take our ethics course, strategy course, capstone course, and so forth. And the typical student in this major likes accounting, likes economics, likes analysis, not afraid of numbers. There's plenty of jobs for these types of graduates. Graduates of this major go to mainstream financial analyst positions, of which I'll mention just three. So the first type of financial analyst position would be a credit analyst. Go to work for a bank and help the bank decide which companies to make loans to. Every bank has a team of credit analysts. Second type would be a corporate finance analyst. Go to work for a company and help keep track of where the resources are coming from and decide what to spend the money on. Every company has some corporate finance analyst. Or the third one would go be an investment analyst. Go work for an investment firm and help that firm decide which stocks or bonds to buy or how to make good portfolios. Every investment company has a group of investment analysts. So these are just three of the mainstream ones. There's a lot of jobs out there for different types of financial analysts.
Tremendous. Thanks, Leonard. And Dirk, you've been instrumental in developing really our newest finance major. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Bachelor of Science in Financial Planning and just kind of what that is all about?
Sure. So our new Bachelor of Science in Financial Planning, this is the first year that we've offered that. We were approved by the CFP board last May, so began offering our first sort of specialized course this fall. There's some overlap between the program that Leonard talked about and the financial planning program. So all of the business gateway courses, all of the Cognate courses, which Leonard mentioned, are the same. And there's some overlap in the finance major as well. So each of these students also takes corporate finance and investments. And then there are some more specialized courses directly at preparing students for the CFP exam and the career specifically. So there's a course in fundamentals of financial planning and insurance. We offer a retirement and employee benefits course, estate planning course, a course in tax and specifically individual tax. All students take a personal finance course. They also take, in addition to that investments course, business law, some marketing, some sales specifically. We have a capstone course that is newly developed directly for the financial planning major, in which students work with an actual client to develop a financial plan for them. So that's their culminating experience. We also have students take some psychology and some an upper level social work course in interviewing, because this career, again, is very much not only a finance and markets type of a job, but also very much a people job and a helping job. And so, like Leonard, the job outlook right now is really strong in the financial planning field. A lot of that business is beginning to age out a bit. There's also a strong demand and push for more women and more diversity in this business. And so there's great opportunities for students in everything from small financial planning firms up through, the large wirehouses, the likes of Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, and so forth.
That's great. Thanks, Dirk. It's an exciting new program, and it's really fun to watch how quickly that has come together and how much interest and excitement there is for it. So thanks for all the work you've done to help develop that too. It's to me, just gratifying to see this strength in finance and in not only financial analysis, but also planning emerge in our business school at Kelvin. We've got a history of really strong accounting, and this is such a nice kind of next step for our school. And so we've got these great programs for students in finance, but for somebody out there thinking, well, wow, why? What's unique about studying finance at Kelvin University versus some other big school? Leonard, I think I'll throw that question at you.
Okay. Well, let me mention three things, three of our distinctives. First of all, we approach finance as Christians, recognizing that finance is part of God's creation and intended by God for some good purpose. Finance is about resources, and these are God's resources. God owns it all. So we ask, well, what would God want me to do with these resources? We learn how to be good stewards of God's resources. We explore how to use God's resources to promote a more just society. We ask, how can I use these resources to obey Jesus' big command to love my neighbor as myself? So that would be a big distinctive for us. A second distinctive would be we do learning by doing. Of course, we have books. We have plenty of books, but we also feature a lot of learning by doing. So in your class, you will have real life case studies, or you will interact with a business professional who can come in and to engage with you, or you'll work on a team to solve a real company's actual problems. And you will have one or more paid internships, either in the summer, full-time, or part-time during the school year. So that's our second distinctive, is learning by doing. And third, we have great business student organizations, student-led organizations, such as Nexus, Peer Financial Coaching, Knight Investment Management, Human Resources Club, Marketing Club, Kelvin Startups, Women's Business Network, and so forth. I would just mention those three: faith, learning by doing, student orgs.
Very good. Thanks for that. And I'm especially glad that you mentioned our student organizations, and we've really got, for a university of our size, a pretty good portfolio. But especially, I'm glad that you mentioned Nexus and Knight Investment Management. It's just so cool that the students have an opportunity in their kind of extracurricular activities to learn by doing as well, and to apply what they're learning. And so today we've also asked two students to join us to tell us a little bit more about those two organizations in particular, and about their experiences. So I think I'll switch back to you, Professor Pruce, and ask you to introduce Zach and tell us a little bit more about Nexus.
Yeah, my pleasure. So let me introduce Zach Camarad. Zach is a senior from Holland. He is in our first Bachelor of Science with financial planning class, and I've had the great pleasure to get to know Zach really well and see him develop as a Nexus coach. He's been with us since Nexus. The Nexus program started 3 years ago. We're finishing our third academic year in the next few weeks, and Zach's been there since the beginning. So tell us about Nexus, Zach.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for the introduction, Professor Pruce. So Nexus is a peer-to-peer financial coaching program where we meet one-on-one with students, and we get to talk to them about kind of whatever financial topics that they want to talk about. And it's a free service. We cover, again, a wide variety of topics, but some of the bigger ones that we've talked about are the ones that we kind of see more commonly are our budgeting, credit, student loans, and investing. And so kind of through this coaching relationship, we've been able to serve, I want to say, over 100 students on campus. And for me, it's been a really, really cool and unique experience, especially to Kelvin. But kind of to go along with this, I wanted to talk about how this helped me kind of discern whether or not I wanted to do the new BSFP. And so for me, kind of my big question coming to Kelvin was whether or not I wanted to go that analyst route or if I wanted to go that planning route. And so, yeah, kind of going along with that, I was sitting in my freshman accounting class, managerial accounting, and my professor poked me, saying that, hey, you should check out this new program. And then, kind of long story short, within 2 weeks of being a financial coach, I declared financial planning as my major. And so this kind of unique experience and this really tangible, cool experience in being a financial coach really solidified me wanting to become a financial advisor someday. So thanks.
That's great. Thanks, Zach. I really appreciate that. The best part about seeing these new programs is seeing the students kind of live into them and really find those places to study and to kind of launch themselves after they graduate. So congratulations to you on being part of that inaugural class of financial planning majors. Professor Van Drunen, how about if you introduce Abby and have her tell us a little bit more about Knight Investment Management?
Sure. Abby Coops, she's a senior BA finance major and a Kelvin Division III soccer player. And she's the chief financial officer of Knight Investment Management, so one of the leaders in that student-led organization. And Abby did a credit analyst internship at Macatawa Bank, and they loved her so much they made her a full-time job offer, and she's going to graduate in just a few weeks and start working there as a credit analyst. Abby.
Thanks, Professor Van Drunen. So about Knight Investment Management, it's a student-led organization of about 50 students that manage roughly $2.6 million of Kelvin's endowment fund. KIM members make decisions to invest in specific stocks and to allocate the portfolio between stocks and bonds. Our mission at Knight Investments is to help students learn about industries, companies, investing, help students develop leadership skills while also earning a return for our client. So this past year, as Van Drunen said, I served as the CFO for Knight Investments. So I was responsible for reporting results to KIM members and to our client while also being responsible for managing the budget. It's been a really great organization to be a part of. It's challenged me in many ways, and I've been able to grow in my knowledge about finance while also growing in my leadership skills. And I get to do that along with a lot of other great students as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Abby. It's amazing. You're going to graduate not only with a great degree, but with C-suite experience. So that's quite an accomplishment, in addition to balancing your role as an athlete on our soccer team. So congratulations on all your accomplishments to both of you. We're moving into it. We've got just a minute or two here for some questions. If any of our viewers have a question, you can post it in the chat. I've got a couple that were submitted. One, first of all, people are always curious about what our students are doing after they graduate. So Zach or Abby, either one of you want to tell us what are your plans other than maybe sleeping in for a day? What are you going to do?
I can answer that first. I have a couple of different offers from some big financial planning firms and from some small financial planning firms. So I'm in kind of that discernment phase on what I want to do. So, and where I want to end up.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah. Multiple offers. That's a nice place to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Abby, how about you?
Yeah, I have been for the past year working as a commercial credit intern at Macatawa Bank. So I will be moving to a full-time credit analyst at Macatawa Bank starting this summer.
Excellent. Good for you. Awesome. Say, before we wrap up, I just wanted also to give Leonard and Dirk the opportunity to tell some of our viewers, if somebody really wants to learn more about these programs, or maybe reach out to us to get involved by hiring our students as interns or employees, what should they do?
Well, I can jump in and start. We've got a lot of great information out on our website. So I'd say in terms of learning more about the programs or some of the specifics behind what either Leonard or I talked about, it's out there on the web. In terms of hiring our students, we love our alumni and friends hiring our students, of course. In our new financial planning program, I'm in dialogue with lots of firms these days, and I love doing that. So, if you've got a specific job to post, our Career Center is the place to go, and they will help you and hold your hand getting that up and ready in front of our students. And then, talking about getting involved in our program, or maybe, thinking about an internship program, what might that look like? How to maybe be participant in our capstone class, or in some of our other experiential learning, because there's lots of opportunities there. I think you could reach out to either of us to do that.
Yep.
Excellent. Leonard, do you want to add anything?
Look forward to hearing from you.
Great. And Leonard gave me his secret on all of this. If any of you is looking for it, we'll try to post some links on the website, but just if you Google finance at Kelvin University, it's going to pop you right into the programs, and both Professor Van Drunen and Professor Pruss are listed there. Also, you can always contact our Career Center if you're interested in posting a position or hiring somebody. So I want to give my thanks to first of all, our students, Zach and Abby, thank you so much for being a part of this, and thank you for really making Kelvin a better place while you've been our students here. And it's been a pleasure having you and serving you, and I appreciate your joining us on this business briefing. And also, Leonard and Dirk, again, thanks for sharing information on the finance programs that we're offering at Kelvin. What's next? We've got a few things coming up, and one or two things that I just want to make you aware of if you haven't heard about them yet. First of all, the dean search that we talked about in our last business briefing, we've hired a dean. So we have a Dr. Jim Ludema, who's currently serving at Benedictine University in Illinois, will be joining us in July as our first dean of our School of Business. And you'll be getting announcements on some sessions where we're going to be featuring Dr. Ludema, and we're going to have chances to welcome him in the fall. Again, we've talked about our new building, which will be opening for classes a year from this fall, and there's construction that'll be going on. And also our online MBA, which we talked about in our last business briefing, excuse me, we'll be launching this fall. And again, if you Google MBA at Kelvin University, you will find information on how to potentially apply for that online MBA program. So with that, I'd like to close our session today. I want to thank you all for joining us, and I hope you have a great day.